Good morning and welcome to Harry and Damien's AFL and Tasmanian Southern Football review. Harry's been watching a lot of footy videos on YouTube, so we thought we'd make up our own footy video just of reviewing the games from the weekend. So we'll get underway. And the first game last weekend in the AFL in round 11 was Melbourne versus the Western Bulldogs at the MCG. And what happened in that game, Harry?
So Melbourne won it quite comfortably. Melbourne scored 13-9-87 and the Bulldogs scored 8-11-59. Jack McRae got 36 disposals and 147 AFL fantasy.
And Bailey Fritsch kicked 3 goals and Jack McRae had 9 tackles. Okay, a good win by Melbourne to stay on top of the ladder. Next game we've got is Collingwood versus Geelong. What happened in that one, Harry?
So Geelong won by 10 points, 8-13-61 to 6-15-51. And Chris May was a good player in that game for Collingwood. He got 32 disposals and 123 AFL fantasy.
And the leading goal kickers for that game were Tom Hawkins with 3, Jeremy Cameron with 2.
And Jack Crisp got 6 disposals.
6 tackles. He got 6 tackles, yeah. He tackled well. A bit of a scrappy game from what I heard.
Yeah.
Okay, the next game we're looking at is Brisbane Lions versus GWS, Harry. What happened in that game?
Brisbane fitted it quite comfortably by 64 points, 19-15, 129 to 10-5-65. The leading disposal person of that game was Tim Taranto with 36 disposals. And Mitch Robinson was AFL fantasy with 147.
And Mitch Robertson also kicked 4 goals.
Yep.
He did, and the leading tackle winner in that game was Hugh McLuggage with 7. Okay, on to the next game. We've got St Kilda versus North Melbourne. Okay, what happened in that one, Harry?
St Kilda won it quite comfortably, but North Melbourne came back in the last quarter though. The final score was St Kilda 12-16-88 to North 10-8-68.
Yeah, Melbourne.
Disposals. Who were leading the disposals was Aaron Hall for North Melbourne with 33 disposals, and Luke Dunstan with 140 AFL fantasy for St Kilda.
Yeah, Mason Wood kicked 3 goals for St Kilda. Is that correct, Harry?
Yep.
And he used to play with North Melbourne, I think. And also the leading tackle for that game was Luke Dunstan, you said?
Yep.
With 13 tackles.
13 tackles.
North Melbourne did well. They kicked 5 goals in the last quarter to come back, but still couldn't get there at the end of the day.
5 goals to 1 in the last quarter.
Yeah. Okay, the next game is West Coast versus Essendon over at Optus Stadium. And a long travelling day for Essendon to go over there, and it's hard to win when you go to Perth, Harry.
Yep.
So what happened in that game?
So West Coast were leading at half time, but then Essendon came back and smashed the game, opening their wheels. So Dom Sheed got 43 disposals, and Dom Sheed also got 145 AFL fantasy, the player of the match.
Yeah, and Jake Stringer kicked 3 goals for Essendon, and the leading tackle getter was Nick Natanui with 6 tackles.
And the final score was Essendon 12-15-87 to West Coast 11-5-71.
Okay, a good win by Essendon over there. They needed that one.
Yep.
They're just hanging in there, just outside the 8 now. Okay, the next game was Gold Coast versus Hawthorn. Okay,
yep.
So they got...
So, Took Miller, he was the best player of the game, with 37 disposals, 160 AFL fantasy, and 7 tackles. And Ben King kicked 4 goals. And the final results were Gold Coast 17-11, 113, to Hawthorn 11-10, 76.
And Took Miller had the leading tackles as well, didn't he?
Yep.
7.
I said that.
Oh, you did too. Next game, Richmond versus Adelaide.
All right. So
we've got Richmond versus Adelaide.
Right. Ben Keith, he had 31 disposals And Jack Rewell, he had 140 AFL fantasy and 5 goals. And Trent Cotcher was leading the tackles with 10. And the final results were Richmond 17-9, 111 to Adelaide 12-11, 83.
Jack Rewell had a good game, didn't he?
Yep.
And they reckon he took mark of the year as well. Okay, next game, Sydney versus Carlton. What happened in that one, Harry?
So Sam Welsh got 33 disposals. Harry Mackay, he's got 3 goals. He's leading the gold medal at the moment by 4 goals.
Yeah.
Isaac Heaney got 135 AFL fantasy and also 3 goals. And James Rowbottom got 11 tackles. And the final score was Sydney 15-10-100 to Carlton 11-12-78.
That's right. Tom Papley played well in that last quarter too, didn't he?
Yeah.
Kicked a couple of goals.
Buddy Franklin kicked 3 goals. Tom Papley kicked 3 goals.
Yeah.
Josh Kennedy kicked 2.
That's right. Okay, on to the next game. We've got Port Adelaide versus Fremantle.
Ollie Wines was the player of the match in that game. He got 35 disposals, 121 AFL fantasy, and 7 tackles. And Charlie Dixon, he kicked 3 goals. And the final results, Port Adelaide smashing them with 18-7, 115 to 9-15, 69.
All right. Okay, so that wraps up our last game for round 11. And so we'll just go through the ladder now. So
Then we'll go through the games for next week.
Okay, so Harry, if you would like to run through the ladder, how many wins each club's got? So Melbourne are on...
Melbourne 10-1, Western Bulldogs 9-2, Brisbane, Geelong and Port 8-3, Sydney 7-4, West Coast and Richmond 6-5, Essendon, GWS, Fremantle and St Kilda are 5-6, Carlton, Gold Coast and Adelaide are 4-7, Collingwood and Hawthorn are 2-9 and North are 1-10.
Okay, so then the Coleman medal leaders...
Harry Mackay with 38, Taylor Walker with 34, Josh Bruce with 33, Ben King with 32, Jack Rewell with 30, Jack Darling with 28, Aaron Norton with 28, Anthony McDonald Tipperwoody with 27, Matt Taberner was 27 also, and Cal Hawker was 26.
Well done, Harry. Okay. So we'll just quickly move on just to Southern Tasmanian Football now. So we've got the TS. We'll do the TSL. So Clarence played Glenorchy at Blunston Arena.
Before you do, I have to introduce some games for next week.
Oh yes, sorry. Harry just wants to introduce the AFL games from round 12.
So Melbourne and Brisbane at the MCG, St Kilda and Sydney at Marvel, Adelaide and Collingwood at Adelaide Oval, Essendon and Richmond at...
Essendon and Richmond are playing at Optus Stadium in Perth because of COVID.
Alright, Carlton and West Coast at the MCG, and Freo and the Western Bulldogs at Optus.
Yeah, and some of those games may change their venue due to COVID restrictions, so some of those games may change their location depending on what happens later in the week.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving along now to the TSL. Clarence played Glenorchy at Blunston Arena, and Clarence got over their arch rivals by 68 points in the Linton Bingley Cup.
And the score was 102-34.
Okay, and then the next game we had Lauderdale play the Tigers down at Skybus Oval.
Tigers won that by 4 points, 64-60.
Yeah, and then the last game of the round was North Hobart versus Launceston at North Hobart Oval.
North Launceston won that by 20 points, 77-57.
Okay, so then we'll move on to the ladder, and we've got Launceston on top.
Launceston was 6-1.
Yep, North Launceston.
North Launceston and Clarence was 6-2. The Tigers was 5-3. Glenorchy was 2-5. Lauderdale and North Hobart sitting second last and last was 1-7.
Okay, and the leading goal kickers for the Peter Hudson medal is Riley from Launceston on 33, Carter from the Tigers on 19, and Musica from Launceston on 17. So next week's games, we've got Glenorchy versus Lauderdale KG5. We've got the Tigers versus Launceston at Kingston Twin Ovals. North Launceston versus Clarence at UTES Stadium, and North Hobart have the bye. So we'll move on to the Development League. Do you want to read just out the winners for the Development League, Harry?
So Clarence bet Glenorchy 100-29. The Tigers bet Lauderdale 127-35. And North Launceston bet North Hobart 84-47. And the ladder is Clarence 8-0.
Launceston
6-1. North Launceston 5-3. North Hobart 3-5. Glenorchy 3-4. Tigers and Lauderdale 1-7.
Okay. We'll move on to the SFL now. So, sorry. Okay, Sorrel played Lindisfarne. Lindisfarne got over the top of Sorrel there. 88-23.
I'll read them out.
Okay, you can read them out.
88-23, yeah, Dad was right. Next game, Hobart and Dodgers Ferry. Dodgers Ferry won that one 89-68. And Claremont and Cygnet. Cygnet won that really easily, 329-0. And New Norfolk and Brighton, New Norfolk won that one quite easily, 99-26.
Okay, that's probably Cygnet's biggest score ever.
Cygnet are on top of the ladder with 6-1, also Huonville. And then Dodgers Ferry are 5-2. Lindisfarne, New Norfolk and Hobart are 4-3. Sorrel are 2-5. Brighton are 1-6. And Claremont are still yet to win a game with 8 losers.
Okay, we'll quickly go on to the Old Scholars now. So the Old Scholars OHA beat St Virgil's, who were unbeaten for the season, by 4 points.
132 to 128.
At the Bike Track Oval, yeah. And University played Dosa, and Uni got over the top of Dosa
110 to 89.
And then Richmond played Hutchins.
Hutchins won 281 to 28.
Okay, and we'll just quickly go through the ladder. We've got St Virgil's on top, 6 wins and 1 loss.
All right. Hutchins are 5-2. OHA are 4-3. University and Dosa are 3-4. And Richmond still to win a game with 7 losers.
Okay. Right, in the ODFA, we've got Mount Pleasant beat Tribunna 74-60. Bothwell beat Campbelltown 192-10. Big win by Bothwell.
Yeah.
And then we'll just go to the women's football in Southern Tasmania, Harry. We've got Division 1. And who won Division 1? Glenorchy versus Clarence.
Glenorchy bet Clarence 75-13. And the ladder in that
Division 1?
In Division 1 is Glenorchy, Claremont Black, North Hobart,
South East
Suns, Orange, and Kingborough.
Okay, Division 2 in the women's competition.
Lindisfarne bet the Port 36-24. University bet Lauderdale 77-10. And Brighton and Huonville.
The Huonville Lions beat Brighton
28-18. And the ladder is University, Lindisfarne, the Port, Lauderdale, Huonville Lions, and Brighton.
Okay, then rounding out the women's competition in Division 3, New Norfolk defeated OHA 27-7. And the last game, Harry?
Hutchins and Claremont. Hutchins won that quite comfortably, 70-6.
Okay, that's our wrap for AFL Round 11 and our Southern Football. Just saying, on the June long weekend, OHA have Dane Swan coming over to play against St Virgil. So come and see Dane Swan, a Brownlow medalist and premiership player with Collingwood. And
Go St Kilda, Brisbane and Essendon.
And come back in here, Hez. And hopefully we'll see you again next week. Have a good week.
Bye.